That reminds me, and this is the INFJ experience. And I guess what I want to do is talk about what the fundamentals of why we have issues, why all of us human beings have issues, individually, collectively, everybody. What's the problem? What is it that drives us to have our sadnesses, our lonelinesses, our emptinesses? Think about it. It's lack of something. I mean, you could think about in third world countries or just poor countries or poor people in general. They may lack homes. They may lack, shelter over their heads, and they're cold. They're wet, and they have to create something. Or they could be hungry. They could not have enough money. These are economic needs, obviously, which has its own breed of things. But I want to go beyond that, people, and talk about what our needs are as INFJs, as people, as just anybody, especially. What is it that makes us unhappy? A lot of it is because, as INFJs especially, one of our fundamental things is our isolation, our loneliness, our introversion that leads us to being primarily alone a lot. And that's just part of our life. And I'm sure many of us have tried to change that in our lives, in our period of our life, many times before. But fundamentally, I mean, a lot of it all comes back to something we're lacking, something we're missing in our hearts, in our souls, in our spirit. And if we fill that void, I mean, what is it we're looking for? Are we looking for somebody, a something, the soulmate, that elusive, perfect soulmate that we think we're going to meet and spend the rest of our life with? Oh yeah, part of it is that, but it don't always happen. Now the soulmates can let you down. People can let you down, even a soulmate. I mean, not necessarily. There's always issues in a marriage, relationships, friendships. There's always something that, there's mistrust, there's betrayal, there's disappointment. So things are going to happen. And I guess sometimes you forgive people for what they did, you move on. But so we're here to talk about emptiness and how it can be filled, why it is we look for it, why is it that we are always longing for something. It's in our heart. It's in our heart to be empty, it seems. And we have a void. We're born with a void, a hole in our heart, in a sense. And INFJs, I can only say, most of my life, I felt that void. Very painful. It's like being hungry, but not quite hungry, like your stomach is rumbling from an empty stomach. It's not that kind of hunger. It's just a gnawing. I guess you could call it a spiritual hunger in a sense. And I mean, there's many scriptures written about the need for, fulfillment through spirit, through God, through our consciousness and heightened consciousness. And yeah, there's many things written about that, but fundamentally, a lot of our problems stem from that, because we long for somebody, we long for something beyond us to fill that void, to fill that empty spot in us. And we tend to go a lifetime sometimes looking for that. And like I said, I mean, you have to get to the point where you realize it's nothing tangible on this world right here. I mean, you could have all the money in the world. You could have $1 billion in the bank, have all the fleet of cars you want, all the material things you want. It ain't gonna fill you. Money doesn't buy it. More money doesn't just make it. I mean, you can have all the girls you want, all the whatever, all you want, and but it doesn't fill you. It's just kind of taking you away from something. They're like distractions, ultimately. So I guess my point is, people, until you fill that void and figure out what it is, your problems are always gonna be there. But trust me, though, eventually, if you look long enough, maybe you pray hard enough, suffer long enough, whatever it is you got to do, it's spiritual, whether it's universal law, maybe you got to be one with the universe, one with chi, and maybe you find nirvana. Hey, we got all these different words for it. Peace, heaven on earth. It's something there, people, to be seen, to be shown. So I guess that's what I wanted to just talk about is how that's the stem of all of our unhappiness, is that we lack something. Okay, whether it be monetary, whether it be enough food, enough shelter, enough money. Bottom line is, if we can work for a living and just have enough to get a roof over our head and things, just to get enough to survive, that's fine. But then you got that spiritual incompletion, that hunger, and only by perseverance, only by literally by perseverance, and not running from your problems and actually facing them. Now, I've said this before, that taking the bull by the horns, facing the bull by the horns, and crossing that perilous journey through the vapid sea, or hey, through the arid desert, whatever analogy you want to go with. I said analogy. Yeah, I suppose it could be allergy season here. I'm sorry, people, I couldn't resist. Well, so the bottom line is, people, I think that's what it is, and I just needed to have this kind of a serene setting. I mean, there's only so much I can do sitting in my living room. I mean, I like my living room. I like my house. Of course I do, but you gotta get out. I mean, I just wanted something. Look at this pond. I mean, beautiful, shimmering pond back here. So we have all we need. We should have everything we need to survive right here on Earth, and it's just a matter of finding the right fulfillment. I mean, if you need money, you get a job. If you need a roof over your head, you buy a house. You get your food. You get what you need physically. You get the clothing on your back. You get what you need, don't you? But then there's that soul, that aching soul, and that is the last final frontier. That is the last horizon that has to be conquered, is fulfilling your soul. You can't personally do that. I don't think it's up to us. It's up to us just to, we can't do it. All we can do is allow enough time to pass, enough heartaches, enough pining or something, in order for it to finally reward us. And I'm talking about spiritual. That's another debate I want to get into, the difference between religion and spiritual too. I want to get into one of those too. I mean, the debate between the two. But bottom line is, that would end a lot of our misery as human beings, and especially as INFJs. We are a searcher type, and we feel these things. We are empty. And we seem to suffer the most out of everybody, as far as like the emptiness and the hollowness and in our soul. And anybody out there struggling with this, believe me, I think we've all been there at some point, and we've all felt it. And that's one of the reasons we're on these channels, is because we just want to somehow make sure that there's somebody out there that you can just kind of know that is on your side. That's been there, that's done that, that's actually been through the fire, been through the hot coals, and somehow came out on the other side halfway decent. So I guess bottom line is, I'm not a perfect guy, but again, I think I have a wholeness that I've recently found that and again, it wasn't easy. It was not an easy journey to find. So if any people, if you feel like you are completely vapid and empty and void of anything, and you feel like it's gotten worse, believe it or not, that's your consciousness. That is actually your soul preparing for you to find salvation. It may seem like it's getting worse before it gets any better. Almost. If that makes any sense, maybe it doesn't, but it's almost like you're being tested. You have to test something. Like I said, you got to put a soldier through a war to know he's going to come out the other end and be victorious. and he has to be trained, and if he can't stand the training, then he's not gonna survive a war. So he's got to be tested. Same thing with the warrior. I mean, a lot of things is just it's testing. And that's what it is. So that vapid hole in your heart, and if you must have gotten to that point, but we're tempted to squelch that while we're in it, while we're in that pain, and the tears are flowing, and you have nobody to talk to, nobody to reach out. There's a temptation to run from that, and there's always going to be. Like I said, I mean, for whatever vice that may suffice, that's gonna be your salvation in that moment. Is only gonna distract you from the inevitable, and then you got to face it again. But eventually, you're gonna have nowhere to run. Maybe through your life, you're gonna go through many bouts where you have places to run, you have places to go. You know, maybe somebody else, maybe a relationship, maybe you have a certain hobby or something. That's why people have hobbies. They have crafts. They find ways of distracting their minds, keeping them busy, so that they're not always thinking about the ache in their heart. Obviously, like I said before, people turn to drugs and narcotics and things like that. And people turn to too much food. They turn to too much TV, too much videos, video games, stimulations, anything that is sensory overload in order to fill the void. Temporarily just mask the void, but it's only keeping you away from the inevitable. Now, I guess I've said this before, people. If you have the fortitude, trust me, and it will be worth the reward at the end. When you have the fortitude just to persevere and let the pain be there, even if it takes months, you might reach these parts where you feel vapid again, that emptiness. Okay, like where it's a still lake. I don't know if it's a still lake, like I said, or a vapid ocean. You're on the raft, floating. Either way, people, it is your test. And when you feel empty and vapid like that, like you're in a sea without a rudder, without an oar, without a wind, and you're just kind of adrift, it's going to seem like hell. But you're being tested. You got to understand, hopefully my words come back to you when you find yourself in that. But you must persevere. Trust me, people. If you get through this, you get through that test, and on the other side, eventually it'll dawn on you that you feel whole. You're gonna find peace at the end of this. Trust me, people. That's what I'm talking about. INFJs out there, especially. This is our channel. This is our experience. This is our sanctuary. And I want to build this community, and all I can do is encourage. All I can do is throw a sense of leadership here, some kind of just direction. I mean, I've been there, I've done that, and especially from you younger ones out there, you're gonna feel like you're missing something. Especially, your hormones are gonna kick in. You're gonna think you have to find that. Your lust kicks in as you're a young man, especially. We're gonna have our lusts and our desires, and we're gonna gratify ourselves, and we're gonna find things in the moment to gratify it. But eventually, understand that when you take external gratifications, a lot of times you only further your soul. It may seem good in that moment, but you're actually putting your soul at a deficit. You're actually making it, it's almost like you're taking the goalpost and, like that penalty, 15-yard penalty, then he back you up 15 yards. It's kind of like that. Your soul is being penalized every time you do stuff like that. And yeah, at the time we don't care, because it's what we need. We need to gratify ourselves. We need to find things to escape. But eventually, it may reach a point in your life, you have to face the music. You have nowhere to run. All your options have been tried. You will just go back to square one. Either that, or some people end up never finding this, and they abuse their bodies to death until they're dead. Basically, I mean, I hate to be so blunt, but that's what it is. So, anyway, people, that's all I can say. I was trying to find something to say on this video today, some kind of something, encouragement, and that's what I came up with, okay? Just to hang in there. Anybody who's in suffering, internally, spiritually, loneliness, and trust me, we do go through that, and especially INFJs, and I empathize for all my brothers and sisters out there going through this. And all I can say is persevere, okay? And you will find peace when you are done. You know, like that song from Kansas, "Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more." Hey, I'm sorry, people. I couldn't help it. It just came to my head, you know. So, but that's basically it. You will find peace in your life, and it is there. I mean, a lot of times people talk about this, but until you've actually found it, you will find it. So please hang in there, people. I hope you got something out of this, and that's all I can say is, like I said, I want to build a community here. I want this to be our sanctuary, not our salvation. I can't do that. You know, just this is a safe haven for those who are the downtrodden, INFJs, the misfits. You know how we are, and but we need something. We need somebody that's backing us up. Okay? I want to be that guy. So please, people, let's build this community. Just, I mean, it's been 5 weeks. I've been here 5 weeks doing this stuff, and I feel like it's my calling. That's all it is, I can say. Now, I don't want to get too much into talking about religion, too much about politics, too much. I'm trying to avoid certain things. I mean, I could. Maybe someday I can get into that stuff, but right now I don't want to touch those yet. Maybe someday I'll get into spirituality. I do believe in a higher creation myself. I know not everybody does, but I do. But people, bottom line is, I'm trying to just throw that out there, and I'm trying to encourage you to hang in there. Anybody suffering, anybody feeling alone, you feel tired, you feel weary, please just understand that you're being tested. That vapidness, that in fact it's more vapid because you're letting yourself face it. You're trying to find it. That is, it's even worse than just being alone. It's like being alone times 10. But trust me, you're being tested, and you will be stronger on the other side, and you will feel full, and you will feel whole on the other side. Well, people, thank you again, and please support my channel, and tell me what you think of this video so I can make more. All right? And in the meantime, enjoy that beautiful view out there. How about that? See that? Enjoy that beautiful view. Well, people, thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of your day.